You're watching Forsaken Joe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy the story. Let's begin. I walked through the door dead tired. My boots were caked with dry mud, my shirt stuck to my back, and all I wanted was a hot shower and 15 minutes of silence. But Sabrina was already in the kitchen, leaning against the counter like she'd just won the damn lottery. "Guess what?" she said, way too chipper for 6 in the evening. I dropped my keys into the bowl by the door. "What?" She grinned, eyes too wide. "Victor invited me to that big real estate conference in Vegas next week, all expenses paid." I stared at her. "What do you mean, invited? Like, your whole team's going?" "Nope," she said, popping the pea. "Just me. He said I've got potential and wants me there for networking. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from." I didn't say anything right away. My jaw was tight, but I wasn't about to explode right off the bat. "So just you and Victor. 5 days. Vegas." She rolled her eyes and turned back to the fridge. "Marcus, don't start." "Start what?" I asked. "I'm asking a question. Sounds more like a vacation than a work thing." She slammed the fridge shut and glared at me. "God, you are so controlling. It's like I have to get permission to breathe." "Controlling," I snapped. "I run a business with 12 employees. I don't have time to babysit. I'm asking because it's weird." Her arms folded. "It's only weird because you're insecure." I took a step closer. "You think it's normal for a married woman to go to Vegas alone with her boss? No coworkers, no itinerary. Maybe you should try trusting me for once." "Maybe you should try acting like a wife," I said. Her mouth dropped open. "Wow, you really don't see it, do you? I'm not some little housewife waiting around for your approval." I stared at her, trying to keep my voice level. "Who are you even talking to right now? I asked one damn question." She snatched her purse off the counter. "I do what I want, Marcus." "With who I want?" Then she stormed out, slamming the door so hard the keys jumped in the bowl. I stood there, heart pounding, fists clenched, staring at the door like it might swing back open and undo the last 2 minutes. It didn't. That night, I couldn't sleep. I laid there with the ceiling fan whirring, staring into the dark. For the first time, I stopped trying to make excuses for her. This wasn't a rough patch. This wasn't stress. Something was broken, and I wasn't the one who broke it. The next evening, I was sitting on the couch flipping through invoices on my tablet when my phone buzzed, then buzzed again, and again. Within seconds, it was going nuts. I grabbed it off the armrest, thinking maybe something happened at a job site. But when I opened Instagram, it hit me like a brick. A photo of Sabrina, full glam, tight red dress I'd never seen before, lips puckered like she was on the damn red carpet, hair curled, heels high, standing in front of some stupid gold sign that read, "High Rollers Only." Caption, "I do what I want with who I want." And she'd tagged my construction business account right underneath it. At Cedar Point Contracting, bold as hell, just sitting there like a middle finger. I just stared at it for a second. My throat went dry. I couldn't even feel my hands. Before I could react, the messages started flooding in. "Bro, what is this?" "Yo, is your wife serious right now?" "She wildin'." Screenshots came pouring in from the crew group chat. Some of the guys were laughing, others asking if it was real. Tyler sent, "Damn, boss, she really letting you hold the purse strings or what?" That one burned. I backed out of the app and tossed the phone across the couch, but it wouldn't stop buzzing. Notifications kept popping up on the iPad too. Comments, shares, tags. The post was spreading, fast. Then my phone lit up with Mom. I didn't want to answer, but I did. "Marcus," she said immediately, "what is going on?" "I saw that picture on Facebook. Amanda shared it, and now everyone's talking about it." "I don't know, Ma," I said through my teeth. "I just saw it too." Her voice dropped. "She tagged your business." "That's your name, honey, your work. This is not okay." "Yeah, no kidding." There was a pause on the line. "You need to take control of this. You can't let her make a fool out of you like this." I didn't respond. What the hell was I supposed to say? After I hung up, I sat there in the dark, watching the little notification bubbles stack up. I felt my jaw lock. My heart was pounding again, like it had last night. But this time it wasn't just anger, it was embarrassment. Deep, skin-crawling humiliation. This wasn't a fight between husband and wife anymore. It was a performance. And I was the damn punchline. I opened Instagram again, just to see it, just to be sure I hadn't imagined it. The likes had passed 100 already. People I barely knew were laughing in the comments. One guy from my old high school even wrote, "Marcus always was a quiet one. Guess Sabrina needed excitement." I slammed the phone face down on the table. This wasn't about Vegas. This wasn't about trust. She'd planned this. She knew exactly what she was doing. She didn't just want to go. She wanted to humiliate me first. I stood up, heart thudding in my ears, and walked to the fridge. Poured a glass of water I didn't even drink. My brain was spinning so fast I couldn't focus on anything. Couldn't even sit down. She'd weaponized the one thing I worked for every damn day. My name. I wasn't some random boyfriend she could ghost. My name was on the trucks, the contracts, the uniforms. People trusted me with six-figure jobs, with their homes. Now the first thing they'd see when they looked up my business. That picture, that caption, that tag. I grabbed the phone again and pulled up the comments. There were guys from the crew still joking about it in the group chat. Boss man got his wife swept off her feet by Mr. Vegas. Guess we know who wears the work boots now. I exited the thread without replying. I knew what they were thinking. If I stayed quiet, I was weak. If I spoke up, I was defensive. Either way, she'd already lit the match. I pulled up her profile and stared at it. Photos, stories, hashtags. All of it curated to scream independence, freedom, power. But all I saw was disrespect. I shut the app, tossed the phone onto the counter, and went straight to the office. I didn't sit down. I didn't want to rest. I wanted the truth. If she was bold enough to smear me in front of the world, I needed to know how far the betrayal went. And tomorrow morning, I'd find out. The damn alarm went off at 6 a.m. sharp. Some generic chime, high-pitched and non-stop. I groaned and rolled over, eyes barely open. It wasn't my phone. It was the old iPhone Sabrina used to use before upgrading a few months ago. She'd tossed it in a drawer in the hallway like it was trash. Probably forgot it even existed. I pulled it out and went to shut it off. But when I hit the screen, it lit up, unlocked. No passcode. Everything was still logged in. Messages, emails, Instagram. The eyes stared at it, thumb hovering over the screen. My gut twisted. Part of me wanted to toss it back in the drawer and pretend I didn't see anything. The other part. The one that couldn't sleep last night. The one that read those comments and watched my name get dragged. That part was done playing dumb. I opened the Messages app. The first name at the top, Victor. At first, it was the usual flirty work talk. You always kill it in heels. Next time we go out, I'm picking the dress. Stuff I'd maybe have brushed off 2 months ago. But then the text shifted. Photos, late-night selfies, cleavage. She sent a playful selfie from her hotel room, just showing her smile. They exchanged flirty messages, joking and complimenting each other in a harmless way. She loved it. They weren't coworkers. They were in it. Deep. I scrolled. There were weeks of this, maybe months. Then I saw another name, Derek. It took me a second, Derek from yoga. The guy who always made too much small talk when I picked her up from class. The one who just teaches breathing techniques. They had their own thread, just as bad. Meetups, hotel reservations, conversations about how safe I was, how I'd never notice. Another name popped up, Owen, the barista at the coffee shop she swore had a girlfriend. He's just chatty, she told me once. Nah, turns out Owen had more than espresso for her. There were pictures, plans. One message where she sent him a heart and said, "Marcus is basically just my roommate at this point." I kept reading. There were more, some random guy from her college days, even a friend's cousin she'd reconnected with by accident at a birthday party. She'd made time for them all, rotated them like some sick calendar. Then I found it. A message to Victor that punched me right in the chest. After Vegas, I knew things between us were over. I was ready to move on, and there was no turning back. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. All that time she was fighting with me about trust. She was already out the door. Vegas wasn't a test run. It was her send-off. I set the phone down, hand shaking. My pulse was hammering in my ears. This wasn't a fling. This wasn't a mistake. It was planned, calculated, executed with a smile on her face. Every time she looked me in the eye and called me paranoid, she already had someone else waiting. I picked the phone back up, opened notes, and typed a few names. Victor, Derek, Owen, Tony, college guy. I wasn't going to forget any of them. Then I opened the calendar app. She'd marked the Vegas dates in bold, added emojis. New chapter. Yeah, she was planning her escape. But now I was planning mine. I grabbed a legal pad from the kitchen drawer, sat at the table, and started making a list. Tomorrow, I was going deeper. I wanted every piece, every name, every dollar. If she wanted to play dirty, she'd just pick the wrong guy. I was still at the kitchen table, staring at the list of names, when I went back into Sabrina's old phone. I hadn't touched the group messages yet. Something told me those would be worse. I was right. There was a group chat called Family Girls. Just her, her mom, and her two sisters. That was it. First message I saw was from her mom. He's good enough for now. You'll know when it's time to move on. Then her older sister chimed in. Marcus is fine, but nothing exciting. You need someone who pushes you. The youngest one, the one who still lived with their parents, dropped, he's safe. That's all. You married safe. Sabrina responded with laughing emojis and, I know, but he's loyal and we've built enough equity for me to not stress short term. Built enough equity. That's what I was now. Real estate. I kept scrolling. This wasn't old stuff. These were messages from just days ago, right before the Vegas trip, right after our fight. Her mom again. Victor sounds like a man with real ambition, not like Marcus stuck running a local crew forever. That one hit harder than it should have. I'd built my business from scratch. Long hours, late nights, busted back. I hired guys with records and gave them second chances. I paid my bills, I showed up. But apparently none of that was ambitious enough for Linda, queen of 2 divorces and an Avon side hustle. Then I found the one that lit me up from the inside. Sabrina. After Vegas, I'll make my move. Marcus will get the wake-up call he deserves. My hands went cold. My jaw locked so tight it hurt. I'd spent years thinking I was the stable one, the provider, the guy who made her feel secure. Turns out I was just her placeholder. Every compliment, every kiss, every fake smile at dinner, just part of the act to keep the foundation steady while she planned the demo. I looked around the kitchen, the bar stools I built, the shelves I installed, the tile I laid down by hand after she said she wanted it to feel more custom. And now I'm safe and boring. She wasn't just cheating on me, she was clowning me, to her family, her sisters, her damn mother, laughing behind my back like I was too dumb to ever catch on. I scrolled back up and reread the same lines. After Vegas, I'll make my move. Marcus will get the wake-up call he deserves. Yeah, how's this for a wake-up call? I opened my notes app and added a second list. Not the men, this time it was her family. Every name, every message, every jab. Because if she thought I'd just roll over and take it, she didn't know me at all. I grabbed my car keys off the counter, heart pounding like a hammer. It was time to talk to someone who actually gave a damn about what I was worth. I got back home, dropped my keys on the counter, and didn't even take off my boots. I sat down at the dining table, opened my laptop, and pulled up our bank account. If I was going to burn this thing down, I needed receipts. First stop, our joint credit card. I filtered by merchant name. Hotel charges popped up first. Marriott, Hilton. Even some random boutique spot in Austin. None of those trips included me. I clicked into the Hilton charge. 2 nights. Plus spa package, $480. Dated the same weekend she texted Victor. Best weekend ever. I kept scrolling. La Perla, Victoria's Secret, Agent Provocateur, almost 1,000 in lingerie. None of it ever showed up in our bedroom, not once. Then came the restaurants. Morton's, Nobu. That rooftop sushi place in Chicago, she said was just a girl's dinner. That tab was $360. 2 entrees, 1 bottle of wine. Not a single girlfriend tagged in that post. I flipped over to the bank statements and pulled up Venmo next. That's where it got real ugly. Victor sent her $120 with the note, my half for the getaway. Derek sent $85, dinner plus dessert. Owen, this one was the worst. He sent 4 payments, each labeled coffee and kisses. Who the hell sends money for kisses? Altogether, I added it up. Over $14,000 in expenses directly tied to her little extracurriculars. 14 grand of our money, spent on making me look like the biggest idiot in the zip code. I opened Excel and started a spreadsheet. Line by line, merchant, date, amount, connected affair partner. I wasn't just pissed. I was locked in. When I was done, I texted my cousin Adrian. Me, emergency, need you here now, bring your lawyer brain. Adrian, be there in 30, you good? Me, just come. By the time he showed up, I had the phone, the spreadsheet, the screenshots, and the chat logs printed and clipped. The stack was nearly 2 inches thick. He walked in wearing a polo and jeans, holding a Starbucks. Jesus, what happened? I handed him the manila folder. She happened. He opened it, started flipping through. Page after page, his face dropped. Wow, this is bad. I sat across from him, arms crossed. It's not just cheating, is it? He looked up. No, this isn't just adultery. This is financial theft. Every dime she spent using joint funds to cheat on you, it's marital misappropriation. Courts eat this up. Even the stuff paid back by those guys. Even worse, he said. They sent her money. She used your accounts to book the rooms. This isn't just betrayal, it's documented fraud. I leaned back in the chair. My whole body felt hot. He kept flipping, nodding slowly. You're sitting on a gold mine, Marcus. She nuked her own case. So what's next? We lock her out of everything. Credit cards, savings, access points. Then we file. But first, we get more. Emails, cloud files, anything digital. I stood up and grabbed the laptop. You've got full access. I'm not stopping until I drain every drop of truth out of this. Adrian looked at me like he was proud, but also like he couldn't believe how far this had gone. He said, most guys come to me broken. You're dangerous right now. Good, I said. She should be scared. I handed him the spreadsheet. We're just getting started. Adrian shut the laptop, leaned forward, and said it plain. You've got everything you need to bury her, but you need to act now, before she gets back. I nodded. So what's the move? We lock down the money, freeze her out of every shared account, get ahead of her. Done. After that, he said, tapping the manila folder, you file while she's still gone. No warning, no heads up. You hit her where it hurts. I opened the banking app right there at the table and started moving every dollar from our joint savings into a new personal account I set up 10 minutes earlier. Total transfer, $18,742, gone from her reach in seconds. Credit cards next, I said. I logged in, canceled hers first, then paused her auto payments. Gym, hairstylist, tanning salon, gone. She could call customer service all she wanted. She wasn't getting back in. Adrian watched me work, not saying a word. He didn't have to. I logged into Netflix, then Spotify, then our meal delivery app. Passwords changed, devices logged out, Disney Plus, gone, Uber, locked. Even her dumb online makeup subscription, canceled. By the time I got to iCloud, I realized something that made me smirk. She'd used my email to set all this up. Never once asked for her own. I was the infrastructure. She just floated through it. I opened our home smart system, switched the cameras to private mode, changed the Wi-Fi password, and removed her access to the Nest. She wouldn't even be able to turn on the heat without asking permission. By the time I was done, her entire digital life was locked out. Cold. I went back to the evidence folder, added the spreadsheet, the screenshots, and printed a cover letter that said, "You lied. You cheated. You drained me. Now you can live without me. This is the only warning you'll get." I sealed it, labeled it in thick black Sharpie, Sabrina. Then I grabbed 3 trash bags and started pulling her designer crap from the closet. The heels I never saw her wear, the bags that cost more than a month's groceries, the silk robe she only ever put on after getting home late. All of it, bagged and in the trunk. I left the ring box on top of the envelope on the bed, not out of sentiment, out of spite. I texted Leo. Me. You home? Leo. Yep. Want a beer or bourbon? Me. Both. I stood in the bedroom doorway for one last look. Quiet, clean, hollow. Exactly how she made me feel. I walked out, locked the door behind me, and didn't look back. Leo handed me a beer and nudged the blinds open with 2 fingers. Showtime. I stepped up beside him. His wife, Rachel, sat behind us on the couch, pretending not to watch, but we all knew she was listening for every sound. Sabrina's Uber pulled up like it was delivering royalty. Backseat door opened, and there she was, hair curled, sunglasses on, dragging her little roller bag like she'd just conquered Vegas. She stepped out smiling, heels clicking on the pavement like she was walking a red carpet, skin tan, outfit tight, head high. She didn't even glance toward our side of the street, just strutted up the driveway like the queen had returned to her castle. Rachel let out a sharp breath. Wow, she really thinks she's about to walk in like nothing happened. Leo smirked. She's about to learn. We watched her unlock the front door and disappear inside. 2 beats later, slam. The front door banged open again, this time hard enough to echo down the street. She stepped back out, screaming my name. Marcus, what the heck? Leo sipped his beer. You want me to answer, or you got it? I leaned against the window frame. Go ahead. He picked up my phone, hit the green button, and held it to his ear. Hi, Sabrina, he said, casual as ever. I need to talk to Marcus, now. He's not available. Anything you'd like me to pass along? She made a sound like she'd swallowed a knife. Tell him he has 5 minutes to explain why all my stuff is gone. He smiled. Your stuff. You mean the designer bags he bought, the credit lines he paid for, the streaming services you logged into through his email. There was silence on the line, then static. Then, you smug little. Click. He hung up. Rachel snorted. That felt good. I went back to the window. Inside, I could see her pacing, arms flying. She grabbed her phone, started calling. I knew the pattern before it even happened. First her mom, no answer, then her older sister. Straight to voicemail, texted the younger one, left on red. She flung her purse onto the couch, ran to the kitchen, tried something on the iPad. It didn't open, same with her laptop. She slammed it shut and threw it across the table. Then she grabbed her wallet, yanked out her Chase card, and stormed toward the door again. Leo whispered, declined in 3, 2. She came back outside holding the phone to her ear. I couldn't hear the bank rep, but I knew the script. She was pacing in circles, voice getting louder and more frantic. What do you mean it's frozen? It's my account, too. I've used it for years. Rachel got up and peeked out the side window. She's crying now? I looked again. Her shoulders were shaking. The sunglasses were off, face red. Mascara streaked down her cheek. Sabrina sat down hard on the front step. Phone still in hand, bag next to her like some lost traveler waiting for a rescue that wasn't coming. She tried calling me again, 5 times in a row. Leo silenced the phone, grinning. She's really unraveling, man. I took the phone, walked it back to the table, and turned the ringer off completely. No more noise, no more access. She'd burned the bridge, torched the house, and now she was watching the smoke with no idea how fast it spread. She wanted power. She got consequences. And we weren't done yet. The sun dropped fast that night, and the street got real quiet. Sabrina stayed on the porch for a while, phone glued to her hand, refreshing like she was waiting for a miracle to load. Then she stood up, dragged her suitcase to the sidewalk, and started dialing. We watched from Leo's upstairs window, the 3 of us silent. She tried Uber first. I saw the screen flash red. Payment declined. She tried it again. Same thing. Then she started making calls. First Victor. Phone to her ear, pacing in a circle, voice low. Then louder, then real quiet. She looked stunned. Rachel leaned in beside me. He hung up on her. Next was her mom, straight to voicemail, then her sister, the other one, her best friend, another friend. She stood there trying one name after another, pacing up and down the driveway like a robot stuck in a glitch. Every single call ended the same. Silence. At one point, she slammed the suitcase down and screamed. Not words, just raw, useless sound. The kind that happens when you realize no one's coming. Then she sat down again, pulled her phone into her lap, and just stared at it. For 15 minutes. Maybe more. Eventually, she stood back up, yanked the handle of her little designer roller bag, and started walking. No ride, no ride share. No backup plan. Just her and that suitcase clicking on the concrete, dress clinging to her like the night was mocking her. She walked past the Johnsons' house. Their porch light flipped on. Then, the Thompsons. Curtains moved. People peeked out. Even Mr. Gonzalez across the street stood at his front door in a white tank top, shaking his head like he couldn't believe it either. Everyone saw her fall. She used to love being watched. Now she was being seen. And not in the way she liked. Leo leaned against the wall. That's the sound of karma rolling luggage. Rachel elbowed him, but didn't disagree. I didn't say anything. I just watched her disappear into the night, smaller with every step, like the spotlight had finally shut off, and all I felt was relief. No guilt, no second thoughts, no weight in my chest. She was gone, and I was still standing. For the first time in a long time, I could actually breathe. 6 months later, I was living in a 2-bedroom loft downtown. Clean lines, concrete floors, tall windows. No memories attached to anything. It didn't echo like the old house. That place always felt like I was trying to convince it to feel like home. This place, it just fit. Clara was sitting at the kitchen counter, grading papers with a red pen and sipping from her own travel mug. Black coffee, no sugar, always brought her own. Never touched mine. "You know who I saw today?" she said, not looking up. "Who?" "Sabrina, at the bank." I looked over from my laptop. "Really?" She was arguing with the teller, something about not being able to access her old accounts. I just nodded. "She looked rough," Clara added. "Like tired. I didn't say anything, just turned back to my screen. Clara leaned back in her chair. "You want to know the best part?" I raised an eyebrow. She had on the same jacket she wore in that Instagram post. You know, the famous one. I laughed once through my nose. Guess the closet's running thin. "She works tech support now," Clara said. Said something about answering calls for an internet provider. "Think it's temporary." "Yeah, probably not." When the Vegas trip blew up, it didn't take long for her job to cut ties. Someone forwarded the Instagram post to her corporate HR. Then the rest unraveled. No sugar daddy stuck around. Her influencer energy dried up fast once the glam disappeared. You can't sell power woman vibes while begging your bank to unlock a checking account you never managed in the first place. "She saw me watching and left real fast," Clara said, sipping her coffee. "Didn't even make it to the parking lot before she dipped." "She's good at exits," Clara chuckled. "I don't know how you stayed in that mess as long as you did." "I do," I said. "I thought that's what loyalty looked like." Truth was, I did run into Sabrina one more time, about a month back. I was at a commercial site, going over drywall with the crew, and I heard a voice behind me say, "Marcus." I turned. She looked 10 pounds lighter and 5 years older, hair pulled back, makeup barely hanging on. She stepped forward like she was about to say something soft. "I was hoping maybe—" I cut her off. "Don't." She blinked. "I stayed too long. That's it. That's the whole story." She tried to speak again, but I turned and walked off. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I was done. Clara set down her pen. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said, reaching for her hand. "I'm better than okay." And I meant it. Later that night, we were curled up on the couch. Clara had her feet tucked under a blanket, head on my chest, my arm around her shoulders. City lights flickered through the window. You could barely hear the traffic from up here. She set her mug down and looked up at me. "You know what I love most about you?" she asked. I tilted my head. "I'm scared to answer that." She smiled. "You treat me like a person. Not a project, not a prize. You just see me." I brushed her hair back. "That's how it should be." "I've dated men who thought being nice gave them a free pass to be selfish," she said. "You're not like that. You're kind, but you're not soft. You're not bitter either, and you have every reason to be." I didn't respond right away. I stared out the window for a second, watching the sky start to lighten. Then I said, "You want to know the dumbest part of all of it?" She nodded. It wasn't loving her. That part made sense at the time. The mistake was financing my own humiliation, paying the bills while she laughed behind my back. Clara didn't say anything, just held my hand tighter. "I spent too long trying to be the good guy," I continued. "The steady one, the reliable one, the better man. And what did it get me? A front row seat to my own damn takedown. You're not that guy anymore." "No," I said, "I'm not." I leaned back and let it settle. It wasn't about revenge anymore. Wasn't even about her. It was about finally calling things what they were. No more excusing disrespect just because it came with a smile. No more mistaking silence for strength. Love without respect is just decoration on a cracked wall. Looks pretty till it falls apart. I wasn't doing that again. Not with Clara. Not with anyone. Outside, the sun pushed up behind the buildings. Pale orange lit the edges of the glass. The room warmed up. Clara shifted closer. You look peaceful. I was. For the first time in years, I wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone. Not chasing, not holding it together, just breathing, grounded, unburdened, finally standing on solid ground, my ground. And I wasn't giving that up for anyone ever again.